Today, I'll show you how to set up your Kingdom podcast with a free and easy to use tool called Anchor. Anchor is a simple and easy to use tool that distributes your podcast all over the internet. It publishes it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a number of other places. You just have to upload your file in one place and it uploads it to all those other services for you. So first, let's head over to anchor.fm in your browser. Once you're on the Anchor site, we're going to go to the very top to the yellow button that says Get Started. We're going to click on that, and then we have the option to create an account. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up with my details. I'm going to create a password. I'm going to set my birthday. And I'm going to check that I am not a robot. And click Sign Up. So as you'll see at the top here, we need to verify our email address before we can move forward. I'm going to jump over to my email and look for the link. So I clicked the verify link on the email and I was brought to this screen. At this point, I can click on the Continue to Dashboard button. Okay, on this next screen, we're going to set up our podcast. So there's an option to upload your first episode here. If you don't have one yet, that's totally fine. You can do it later. If you scroll down, the next option is to set up your podcast. So we're going to click on this Go to Podcast Setup button. And now I can enter my podcast name. I'm going to type in Posture with Lindsay Van Zale. If you are still working on your name, we always recommend doing a ministry name and then including with and then your name to personalize it a little more. For the podcast description, you can write a few sentences about your podcast and what your content is about. I'm going to use the description that we use for all of the Posture accounts. I'm going to go over to Instagram here. I'm going to copy this description and simply paste it in. Next, we'll choose a podcast category, and there are a number of different options. We recommend going with Christianity if you're not sure which one to use. If you have something that's closer to coaching or education, or maybe it's business coaching, feel free to choose that category. Next, we're simply going to choose the podcast language. So I will choose English from the United States and click Continue. Next, we'll put a picture together for your podcast. This is just a graphic that makes it easier for your podcast to be recognized. I'm going to show you an example of what Postures looks like. This is this image that's here on the left. We just have a picture of Lindsay and we have the name of the podcast below. So on this screen, we have the option to search for a photo or upload an image. So I'm going to click Upload an Image and select an image we've been using for all of our accounts. On this screen, we have the option to crop our photo and zoom in if that makes it look a little better. So I'm going to zoom in maybe to right there. We want to make it really easy for people to recognize her face. And I'm going to click Continue. So Anchor has a tool here that lets you put text on your photo. I wouldn't recommend doing it in this step because it's difficult to sort of place it exactly where you want it. If you do want to design something, I'll drop a link to Canva below to some awesome templates that will help you create an awesome looking podcast graphic for free. So I'm going to go down here and uncheck Apply Text, and I'm going to uncheck the Anchor logo, which is on the top right there. And I'll click Update Cover Art here. So now you can see that our podcast is set up. If I scroll to the very top here and I refresh, we should see that new graphic loaded onto the page. And there you go. That was pretty easy. We now have a podcast, and all we have to do is upload our first episode. Now, you can come and change any of these details later by clicking this pencil in the top right. And we can change the podcast name, the description, or even change the podcast cover art. Once you're ready to upload your first episode, you can go up to the top right and click New Episode. Here, we can select a file from our computer. Now you can upload a video file or you can upload an audio file. If you upload a video file, it's going to take the video portion away and just use the audio from that video for your podcast. Once your file is finished processing, you'll see that that gray button at the top has now turned purple and I can click Save Episode. And here you can set the episode title, you can set the episode description, you could schedule it to go live now, or you can schedule it for some date in the future. And you can even enter a season number and an episode number. When you're finished with all this, scroll back to the top and click Next. For your first episode, a pop-up will appear to make sure that you're ready to go live with your podcast. This will actually distribute your podcast to all the different platforms and make it public. I'll click Publish, and now our first episode is live. And that's it, your Kingdom podcast is officially live. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and you can subscribe to our channel for more content just like this. If you have any questions, drop a comment below, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. See you in the next video.